Hi, I'm Arthur, and today we are engaging in part 11 of my series deep diving into all the original 20 legions of Space Marines. Which I feel a lot of you forgot. I said 20 legions, not 18. I'm hitting all 20, even if there's no information about them. And going to the absolute maximum of my insanity, today we're going to spin quite the batshit insane story. So, who were the 11th Legion? But I have an answer for a more important question of where are they now and what happened to them. But before we get to that, there are a few things that we need to discuss and a few questions that I need to answer. So put it in the simplest terms, in the literature of 40k and the Horus Heresy, there are a lot of moments that are kept intentionally vague and ambiguous, usually described as a fuck it, no recording, we go in, kill them all, and what have you. A lot of people complain about one in particular, which is the Rangdan Xenocide, where apparently the greatest threat to all humanity and the Imperium as a whole prior to the Horus Heresy occurred and was snuffed out in under a century of fucking horrid bloody war. Here's the kicker though. We know literally dick all about what happened. For one of the most significant events, a lot of people complain about knowing absolutely nothing about it. We lost billions of Imperial servants in this blood war, which I'm gonna put an end to the confusion now. You know, silly little man that I am, and just say, it's not really that complicated. From a meta-contextual view, this happens a lot in like every form of writing. GW likes to imply a lot more than they are going to actually say or do. So when it comes to big evil kill time of darkness eras in the universe that go widely unexplained, it's more or less a cop-out to say, hey, we have 30 plot holes that can be explained by this event, just let the lorehounds do the digging and make their own conclusion. It's more or less genius, and GMs in D&D have been doing the exact same thing for eons, if eons were 40 years. Like, good example of another similar event in the lore is the fucking Howling, another massively threatening Xeno known as the Caco Dominus that held entire swaths of space, was just written out of existence by the fucking Black Templars blaring Sabaton while riding into glorious melee. Now the Caco Dominus is relegated to a literal relic. That's it. When apparently it was such a god-tier psyker, it could control several star systems at once. By the way, that's my relic bearer for the Caco Dominus skull. Give him a little smooch for me. I painted him myself. So with the Rangdan Xenocide, it's pretty easy to make your own theories, because it likely won't ever get proven what truly happened. Some people come up with whacked out theories that it was an outright rebellion by two legions banding together to fight the Imperium, which is cool and all, but for my own cracked out theory, nah dog, I have no idea what happened. If we're going to be literal with all the information we know, it was very likely we both lost the 2nd and the 11th Primarch to the Rangdan, which is why the 1st and the 6th Legion were sent to deal with them. These two legions are specialized in killing the ever-loving shit out of anything and weathering the storm long enough to make sure that the thing they killed couldn't even come back by accident a million years later. Now, allow me to make a supposition. If I remember correctly, relatively soon after the Xenocide, the Ultramarines and the Imperial Fists had their ranks swell to like a ludicrous degree. I'm talking jumped almost an entire legion in size, which logically means that the Primarchs being dead or lost, their legions were considered loyal enough to be absorbed back into service with the other legions. It's not uncommon for that to happen because the 3rd Legion was a part of the Sons of Horus for a long time, though I will say there is evidence to say that the 11th Primarch is still around, just locked away in the dark cells of Terra. Likely due to some kind of corruption. The Rangdan were stated to be brain and bone eaters, so maybe they consumed or fucked the brain of that one Primarch while killing the other. Or maybe corrupting both, with one being killed by Leman and the other brought back to Terra in the hopes of sometime maybe fixing it. Regardless, there is a theory I have that there are some aspects of the Legion attached to the Imperial Fists and the Ultramarines that have the gene seed of their Primarchs that are no longer accessible. A good example of this is the so-called successor chapter of the Imperial Fists, known as the Soul Drinkers. Now, it's more likely that they were just super fuck you mutated and corrupted, but even though all the records said they were Imperial Fist stock, but when compared, their gene seed did not line up with the stated records Vrogel Dorn goop they had in stasis on Terra. You follow me? Make sense? Cool, because Space Marines do form brotherly bonds, so those of the 2nd and 11th Legion would likely have stuck together and make it so they work together continually, so their apothecaries would likely attend to their own warriors. So, the gene seed collected by 11th Legion apothecaries would have been from 11th Legion Imperial Fists, and I said that with air quotations. Meaning their gene seed would be preserved throughout the centuries of serving as a different legion, being implanted into new warriors under the banner of Dorn or Guilliman. Haven't you ever thought about how fucking weird it is that some successors to the Ultra Smurfs and the Fists have almost nothing to do with the original chapter? It feels like their gene seed just changes them in such random ways. Their warrior culture just super weird. Look at the Iron Snakes, Ultramarine successor. Fucking weird. Don't even get me started on the Emperor Spears. Getting that out of the way, let's take a look at the subtle yet malicious influence of the Chaos Gods. The Chaos Gods often do short-term plans for maximum gains, which makes sense. It's fucking chaos and chaotic. But there are chaos plans in history that have led to longer-term goals with the possibility of even greater yields at the end. Look at the Angels Vermilion. Their chapter master made a deal with a Lord of Change that may have been Kairos Fateweaver, I believe. I'm drawing a blank right now on that. To give him the top secret Stop the Black Rage and Red Thirst secrets, which he did on the deal that every time that one of the Angels Vermilion does fall to the Black Rage, there is a 1 in 5 chance that instead of seeing Horus on the Bridge of the Vengeful Spirit like their Sanguinius, they see the Lord of Change in the volcano that the chapter master of the Angels Vermilion made the deal with, whom will tell them the secret of their cure-all and then attempt to corrupt them. Basically, the chapter's fucked. But so far, none have fallen for this deal, so they keep going. It's a very long-term plan, very Tzeentchian, but very chaosy. So Chaos Gods can have long-term goals. Like again, with the Soul Drinkers, there was a long-term goal of corruption. Now, here's where we get to the wacky shit. I swear this will all make sense, and some of you astute motherfuckers will know where I'm going with this. So follow me. What if an aspect of the 11th Legion was manipulated after being absorbed into the Ultramarines for thousands of years? Subtle changes, like a parasite leeching off of a festering wound to guide the minds and souls of the remnants of a specific legion to a specific endpoint. It's not that far of a stretch. Where does chaos fester? The Eye of Terror! What better target than those said to defend and patrol the Eye? In comes the Adeptus Praesus, which I know I am saying wrong, but even if I said it right, it still wouldn't seem like I was saying it right. Quick overview, the Adeptus Praesus are Space Marines that came from gene stock of Marines said to be especially uncorruptible, like, drumroll please, the Ultramarines, the Imperial Fists, the White Scars, Dark Angels, so on and so forth. 20 chapters were formed to guard specific sections around the Eye of Terror, which, to kind of go back to my point, if you're following the insanity so far, the 11th and the 2nd Legion, even with our most lenient understandings, had no way of falling to chaos, so the remnants absorbed into the Fists and the Ultramarines are probably still under the fucking radar. Even if their Primarch fell to some unknown Chaos God. Maybe they just got miscategorized and forgotten as Ultramarines. Because that does happen. The Administratum does make mistakes. My favorite mistake and example of this are the Swords of Huldroth, an Ultramarine successor chapter that after hundreds of years of service was found out to not actually be a successor to the Ultramarines. They were found out to be a successor of the Blood Angels, and thus they changed their name to the Carmine Blades, and they now understand, wow, this is probably why we suddenly see some weird bald guy on a spaceship thousands of years ago and start going into a killing frenzy. So a miscategorization of this aspect of the Legion that has been preserving itself through battle, possibly as its own chapter over the years, could definitely happen. So one of the 20 chapters sent to the Eye under the banner of the Adeptus Praesus, subtly manipulated by some dread god over thousands of years, might have been sent there and might be in the right place at the right time, which is exactly where the Sons of Malice fucking ended up. Yeah, you saw it coming, it was in the thumbnail. I'm talking about them. They are real. They were in the fall of Cadia, and they are the last remnants of the lost 11th Legion. Fuck you, I'm right. Malice obviously chose them because they were a part of the 11th Legion, and his number is 11, like the other Chaos Gods, like Nurgle's number is 7, so he obviously chose the 7th Legion, which is the fucking Night Lord. Oh, fuck, this is falling apart under any level of scrutiny. But like, is not that far out of the realm of possibility? And the Sons of Malice are just such a weird warband at base, so for them to worship a Chaos God that barely exists in the canon, why not have them be a part of a Legion that barely exists in canon, right? Make sense? No? Fuck you, it's my video, I do what I want. I'm just trying to entertain a theory that isn't just whoopsie aliens did it. And leave it at that. Plus, I feel like the Sons of Malice, being what they are just primed for such a weird lore tidbit like that. For the uninitiated, Malice is the unspoken 5th Chaos God that feeds on anarchy and hate. Destruction for the sake of destruction's sake, as it were, is his bread and butter. So, with Malice being what it is, there's a whole list of legal issues that come with its existence. There's a lot of other videos out there. I might cover like the legal discourse with Malice at some point, because it's very weird. The TLDR is a comic writer was hired to make a Warhammer comic, and they mentioned a 5th Chaos God that didn't actually exist in fantasy days called Malal, and basically because GW didn't copyright that, he owned the trademark to Malal, but then they decided to make an equivalent in 40k called Malice, and the Sons of Malice are in it. Sons of Malice still exists, and there was a book called The Labyrinth which existed, which is actually a pretty good read if you look it up. It's pretty simple. Malice is in a weird spot where it does exist, but it also doesn't. It's canon, but like not canon at the same time. So you literally could not prove me wrong. You can't. There's nothing you can say. Unless they say Malice doesn't exist, you can't prove me wrong. I am right. Regardless, my unhinged rant aside, what do you guys think? I like proposing alternative theories to what could be. What do you guys think happened to the 11th Legion? Let me know in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe. And join the Discord. I finally have that set up, and the link should be in the description if I remember to put it there. Until next time, just know, Malice is real, Malal is a legal issue, and the Sons of Malice did nothing wrong ever. Ever. Cannibalism is not a crime in 40k. Hi, it's post-video Arthur again. It's been a minute. I just wanted to make this little bit to say thanks for 5k. I'll be honest, I never thought I could get here. I never thought I would. I opened up the Discord and all of you seem pretty chill, at least so far. I'm gonna try and keep this short and sweet, but yeah, I had a lot of fun making this video and I hope you all had a lot of fun watching it. But No, I'm genuinely appreciative. I think I'm going to be doing this for a little while to come. So yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time.